Welcome to the Kelly Healing Project, where we have real conversations about healing, growth, and stepping into your power. I'm Kelly, and I'm so glad you are here. So today's podcast episode is going to be titled, The Answer Isn't More Thinking, It's Expansion. So one thing that I have noticed is that trauma, and it could be any type of trauma, especially people with complex trauma, it will make you shrink yourself. And the one thing that I have noticed in my own journey is that it's about following the expansion energy. So, and a lot of times, especially if you grew up in a household where it was very chaotic, there was a lot of trauma going on, you can learn to question yourself, especially if there's a lot of manipulative tactics that are used on you. It will make you question your own authentic knowing, your own self, and it will make you even question who you are. And at least in my case, it's almost like as if when you grow up in a narcissistic household, you are not allowed to be your own individual. Because it's almost like that toxic individual will, will make it almost as if you are there to serve them. And it's all about them, and it's all about their needs, and who cares about you. And that is toxic, and that is not okay. We need to allow people just to be themselves. If you have kids that are not allowed to truly develop their own character, because even in a toxic narcissistic household, developing that character is a threat to the family dynamic. Well, it's not a very stable family dynamic to begin with, and I don't want to be a part of it. But unfortunately, when you are young and you are a child, you don't understand this. But hopefully anybody who's been through that, as they get older, they are able to overcome that, and they are able to really go inside, go internally, and learn who they are as an individual, because that is so important. You were not put on this planet to serve somebody else. And if somebody convinces you of that way, they're freaking crazy. And don't even for 1 second just believe that. But really, I'm genuinely curious of other people who have experiences. Have you ever noticed that trauma makes your world get smaller? You stop taking risks. You stop trusting yourself. You stop speaking up. You start choosing what feels familiar instead of what feels alive. I think one of the greatest shifts in my own healing journey has been realizing that healing isn't about becoming somebody new. It's about expanding back into who you truly are and who you've always been, but you're just remembering that. So trauma is protective. When you've experienced hurt, betrayal, rejection, or chaos, your nervous system learns to contract. You become smaller, not because it's who you are, but it's because your body is trying to keep you safe. So you might stay quiet instead of speaking your truth. You might avoid opportunities because they feel uncertain. You might even keep yourself hidden, overthink every decision, and focus on making everyone else comfortable while abandoning yourself. That is not who you truly are and who you were meant to be. And I think a lot of our own suffering, a lot of our own pain and struggle, a lot of it is, I feel like a lot of people, they overthink. Less action and they overthink. And a lot of it is related to the nervous system. And especially if you grow up in a traumatic household. And I don't know the exact numbers, but sometimes when I look around, I do see a lot of people walking around, and I can tell that they have trauma. Not everybody, but I can see the responses. I can see, when they go into the fight, flight, or freeze, or fawn, or, and it's unfortunate. And these people need help and they need hope. And I think a lot of people, they just don't question their own behaviors, and they don't know that there's a whole nother life that you can experience outside of that trauma. That is not your story, and it's never meant to be your story. You can rewrite it at any time. So the problem is that a contracted nervous system can mistake unfamiliar for unsafe. So healing isn't about forcing yourself into situations you're not ready for. It's about slowly teaching your body that expansion can feel safe. And like I said, slowly. Because if you do a little bit too much at once, it can feel completely and utterly overwhelming. But, if that's your cup of tea, then go for it. But if you are that person, then you're probably not going to listen to this because you probably already done the work and you probably, which is fantastic. So even for me, one of the biggest places I've noticed this in my own life is through my podcast. So for a long time, I was worried about what people would think. Would they judge me? Would people think I was weird for talking about healing? But every time I chose to show up anyways, I felt more like myself. Not because it wasn't scary, because it was aligned. That's the difference. Fear and expansion can exist together. And I notice each time I do this, each time I record a podcast, or each time I have a guest come on, every time that I do it, it feels a little less scary, a little less intimidating. And I'm learning to get over this fear of being seen. And I don't know, because it's like I'm almost in this in-between where I feel like I have a foot in the old life and then I have a foot in the new life. And you know what? When I feel the new life, sometimes it does. When I like feel that energy and I like step into it, oh, it's very powerful. And it's not, and when I say powerful, I don't mean the fact that you overpower everybody. It just means that you found yourself and you're so in tune and you stop caring what other people think. You don't give a shit anymore. You don't care. It's that expansion, what feels good. So if you see me walking down the street, getting my steps in, or even at the gym, getting my steps in, jamming out, and you see me really into the music, don't judge. Because I am learning to feel this joy again. Joy after, for so long, putting everyone else first. Everyone else above my own needs. It's not selfish to pour into your own cup. I feel like this is getting a little off topic. It's kind of related, but it's not selfish to pour into your own cup. I strongly feel like one of the main lessons that a lot of people are here to learn is to truly love themselves. And once you figure that out and once you get that out, and when I say love yourself, I don't mean I think I'm better than anybody. No. I mean, I have a healthy relationship with myself. I no longer put myself down. I no longer beat myself up in my own thoughts because I will not be my own worst critic because I went through that shit before and I sure as hell am not going to internalize that maternal voice in my head. I am meant to be here, to come here and to experience a lot of heartbreak and a lot of pain and a lot of trauma. And guess what? To teach myself how to heal it and to talk about it so other people who have been through something similar can use that pain and learn something from it. I'm meant to teach, I'm meant to guide, and I know that, and I've known it for a long time. My intuition is very strong. And it's just my time to get out there and get over being seen, and I really don't give a shit. I am a bright light, and I genuinely love to spend time with myself. And I think there's a lot of people out there that when they're alone with their thoughts, that's scary. It doesn't have to be. If you go internally and you do whatever and going internally can be different for other people. It's mainly you need to go inside. And you need to learn to pour back into your cup. It could be journaling. It could basically, you need to go through and process this stuff and release it. Because this is not the way that you are meant to live. You're not made to live a small, contracted life. I strongly feel like everyone needs to learn this. Expand. Don't feel ashamed of taking up the space that was already fucking meant for you. And that's what I'm learning, is to be okay taking up space. I don't care. And if anybody has a problem with it, really, I could care less. Sometimes I'm so focused on my own lane, even if there are haters, and I don't know. I don't even fucking see them. Because I'm not focused on that. I'm focused on doing my own thing and doing what I know that I'm meant to do. And, that's it. And if it triggers anybody, I really don't give a crap. But y'all know that these triggers are showing you what needs to be healed. Triggers are not a bad thing. Do they feel uncomfortable? Hell yeah, they do. But they are not a bad thing. That is showing you something there that is not aligned to your true, authentic self, whatever you want to believe. It's not aligned with your soul. It's something that you learn from other people that is not your own, and you need to learn to release it. It could be a fear. It could be anything, really. You need to learn to release it. Because if you want to go to the next level, you sure as hell can't take those old beliefs with you. That old pattern of behavior, it doesn't need to come with you. And this stuff will happen over time. So don't beat yourself up over if, oh my gosh, I did some inner work last night and I woke up the next morning and I was kind of the same. It takes time. I've been doing this healing work for I don't know how many years. I was in trauma therapy for about 8 years, and then I did a little bit of kind of energy work and just really going internally, just really processing a lot of that for, God, that started 2019 maybe. Like, it's been a while. And that's perfectly okay. But the thing that I've noticed too is even when it comes to certain even generational programming, like that lack of, I grew up, my mom was on disability because her complex PTSD was so bad, and she had such a hard time even just being out in general, being around people. And I of course I can relate because she sure as hell didn't break the patterns. I don't think the trauma that I experienced was as intense as her, and that's really unfortunate. But well, I mean, you get what I'm saying. Like, I'm glad I didn't have to go through as much trauma. But still, I mean, she really, she was all over the place. She had such a hard time. And in the end, it's almost like she just let it all defeat her. And, I've been going through this, and I always knew that I was different. And I'm like, I made a promise to myself that my kids were never going to know this life. And this was when I was a child. Because I knew something wasn't right, but she had me so, like, they get in your head so manipulated that you think, am I the problem? But deep down, I feel like I knew it wasn't right, but I wasn't trusting my intuition. I wasn't trusting my inner guidance. And my God, it was just crazy. But I got a little off topic up there, but she was on disability because she had a hard time working because she just had so much going on, and she needed healing the most, but she didn't. I don't know. I feel like she didn't fully process this. She didn't really go internally. And listen, I don't know. I can't fully make that assessment, but I know with me, my life was always different. I always knew that I was going to overcome this, and this was not my story. And I always knew that there was a purpose behind this pain, and I've always been very, very passionate. This is, I want to help humanity. That's the Aquarian energy in me, in my birth chart. And I strongly suggest anybody, look up your birth chart, please. It helps you know who you are as an individual. And a lot of people are going to be like, well, I don't believe in that. Whatever. There's a quote, millionaires don't use astrology, billionaires do. So while you have these other people higher up, they're looking at this, they're more successful, and you're sitting here, well, I've been told. Do you believe everything you were told? Or do you, for me, I find out myself. I look at things, and I look at too. I'm able to read toxic people because I have been in toxic environments. I know what toxic behavior looks like. They play on all those negative emotions, that's fear, all the shame, the guilt, all that shit. Manipulation, all of that. And then I decide for myself, and then I also decide for myself. Do I feel like this is true? We need more people like that. Stop following the herd. Y'all didn't come here to be sheep following it. But anyways, and that's again my Aquarius energy, man. We're the rebels a little bit, We challenge things. We're very independent. We challenge things, but we care deeply about humanity. But it's like almost so much we care deeply about humanity when it comes to individual people. Sometimes we don't have a lot to give, if that makes sense. So we like to be independent. We like to do our own thing. We don't really need a lot of people. We are so good. And I genuinely enjoy my company. I do. I love it. Anyways, that's beside the point. But I was talking about generational programming. So, I mean, like, I didn't grow up with a lot. And my father was a custodian. So I didn't grow up with a lot. So when it came to certain things, even, as I got older, they would instill that fear into me, almost fear that they didn't think that I could make it. Oh, listen, I was just fine. But it's their own fears, their own insecurities, their own, maybe they feel like they didn't make it. So they project that onto us. And listen, some of this stuff, it probably comes from a genuinely good place because they don't want to see you fail. They want to see you do successful, but also instilling fear into somebody is not, that's not the way. Fear is never the answer. I'll tell you that. Fear is never the answer. You will never find your answer in fear. So, I didn't go on vacations a lot. In fact, we never really went on a vacation where we actually stayed at a hotel growing up. We went a couple times to Florida to stay with family, and that was pretty much it. That's all I really remember about vacation. So when it comes to me booking vacations by myself for my 2 kids as a single mom, sometimes I had a little bit of fear there. It's that fear coming up. But you know what? Now I realize this is my time, and I will no longer contract my energy. And when I think about going to the beach and I think about that, my energy expands. So you know what? Let's go and let's have fun and let's enjoy it, because I've also worked hard and I deserve it and they deserve it. So follow what expands you. So when you have something like that comes up and you feel like you're almost torn, I guarantee you there is some belief behind the scenes that's working, and that wants to make you, oh my God, can we? Oh my God, are we going to be okay? Yeah, you're going to fucking be okay. It's going to be okay, guys. Take steps forward. Stop shrinking yourself to make yourself fit into these boxes that you were never meant to be in. I am not meant to be in a box. You cannot fucking put me in a box. And that is perfectly okay. And y'all aren't made to be put in boxes. So stop putting yourself in boxes. Start questioning this stuff. Do I like this? This is fear, I feel. Where did this come from? Sit about it. Sit with it. Meditate it. Journal. Think, where did this come from? Is this what I want going forward? No, it's not what I want going forward. What is the new belief system that I want? So I'm assuming that belief system was, if we go to the beach, like that somehow I'm not going to have enough, that I'm going to fail, and I'm not going to be successful. Is that true? Hell no, that's not true. Sometimes you need to get away. After a vacation, you feel re-energized, you feel recharged. And you know what? I have the feeling that this is my year. The next several years, these are my years. I know it. I freaking know it. And so might as well take a vacation now before things start really getting ramped up. And I am so excited. I'm so excited. But anyways, I'm getting off on a side note. But follow what expands. So sometimes my main point was when I thought about the beach and I wanted to take my kids on vacation because they were like, I want to go on vacation. And, I still have a little bit of that fear because I didn't grow up just going on vacation. Like that wasn't a luxury that we had. And I had a lot of fear instilled in me. Fear of just are you going to be successful? Are you going to make it? Oh my God, don't do this, And I'm sure even for my father, it came from a genuinely good place. But I'm not going to fucking live in fear. Y'all can. Listen, and at the end of the day, everybody, you have your own free will. You can create your own damn reality however you want to see it fit. And if you want to live a reality of fear and lack and not enough, well then by all means, nobody's stopping you. The universe is not stopping you. The universe will support you unconditionally. So if you want to assume that, listen, everything works out for me. Everything is so easy. And you know what? I take leaps and the universe meets me. Or, I booked this trip and guess what? I know that maybe in a few weeks, I'm randomly going to get some random money deposited in my bank. Because when you realize too that everything is energy and you attract what you are. So if you want to attract money, you need to be on abundance frequency. And abundance frequency is not in fear. It's not in lack. It's not in not having enough. It's when you expand and when you have good self-worth and you have confidence and your nervous system is regulated. Because too, when you think about money, it's all fucking made up. Most of it, money, physical paper, which was made up anyways, it's just green paper with printed images on it. That's all it fucking is. And a lot of it too, even some of it, it's all electronic, literally. Most money, it does not even pass people's hands. So you're saying that you can't attract something that is made up anyways. Who in your family or who in your life taught you that you are not worthy of having a lot of money or even having enough money to get by? Who? I guarantee you somebody did, and you're still holding on to that belief, and that's why you feel like money is scarce, is a scarce resource. And even if one day that person, and this is why even people who win the lottery, who haven't fully done the work on this stuff, they spin right through it because they have a certain belief system that they haven't worked on. Yeah, they may have gotten that lucky break, but guess what? They're back at square one because they haven't done the internal work. You have to do the internal work. If you want to attract something, you need to match that vibration, that frequency. You need to be in direct alignment with it. And it has no choice but to come to you. So, I even did this money, meditation. Oh, Brian Scott, I think it is. I saw it on TikTok and I was like, hell yeah, let's do it. Anyways, so we did it. It was great. And then, I got an email or notification that I had a surplus in my escrow a few days later. And so I got notified I was going to get a refund check. And I was like, okay, I see you. See, stop. Stop contracting yourself and start expanding. You know what? I am not going to fail. Whatever happens will happen. And even working on this business, it's almost like you think that you've got to have everything perfectly figured out before you take the next step. No, you don't need to see the whole staircase to take the first step. Just freaking take the step and you will start to figure it out as you go. And that's what I've done. I've done stuff. Okay, that doesn't work. Okay, well, how does this work? Okay, well, let's try this. And then you learn a schedule and you're learning as you go. And this stuff is teaching you in the midst of it. I am learning, even with this podcast, even if nobody freaking listens to it, I am learning how to speak better. I'm learning how to articulate. I'm learning different, I'm not even 100% sure of, the terminology, but I'm learning certain things. I catch on very quickly, but I'm learning certain things about speaking. There's things that I don't even know the terminology for, and I know that I do in my speech. You know, it's like I go high and low, and then even like I use cadence, I think is one. Anyways, but I'm growing and I'm learning and I'm expanding. So I guarantee you, whatever your purpose is, your path is, or whatever is in alignment with your energy, it expands you. It doesn't contract you. So you need to follow that, because that fear can get in your head and you can think, oh my God, no. Release it. You don't need that shit. Where you're going, you don't need it. And I know I don't need it. So I'm getting over my fear of being seen and all of that crap. And I'm so freaking excited about it. I feel like solar plexus like lighting up. I'm so excited. I can feel the butterflies. I'm so excited. Like, because this is just the beginning. And I'm so excited and I'm so thrilled. And I want to help other people feel this way, because your life can be freaking beautiful. And it's you convince yourself, most people have convinced themselves that it can't. But hell yeah, it can. You can create. It really is a matrix. You can create whatever you want. You're just stuck in the old patterns and the old ways of thinking. But you can be, do, or anything that you truly want. If you, even building a business, if you're consistent enough and you work at it and you try to focus on getting better, it has no choice but to manifest. You can do anything. You really, truly can. So the next time you're making a decision, ask yourself, does this make me feel smaller or more alive? Or am I choosing this because it feels familiar, or because it aligns with who I'm becoming? If fear wasn't making this decision, what would I choose? Those questions have really changed my life. Because once you start to question that, and once you start to see the fear for what it is, it's fear. It's false evidence appearing real. Then it's game over, guys. It's game over. And then you realize you can create anything you want. You don't have to stay stuck in that. So maybe healing isn't about fixing yourself. Maybe it's about removing everything that caused you to shrink. Your confidence, your voice, your joy, your curiosity, your love. Those things were never gone. They've been waiting underneath the survival patterns all along. Your job isn't to become someone else. It's to keep expanding into the person that you've always been. Thank you so much for listening to the Kelly Healing Project. Remember, healing is not about becoming somebody new. It's about reconnecting with who you truly are. Healing the past, empowering your future. If you'd like to connect further, you can visit me at thekellyhealingproject.com. I'll see you next time.